Ladies and gentlemen, you're either here because you're in the market for a brand new Apple Watch, or perhaps it's upgrading time and now you're doing some research so that you upgrade to the Apple Watch that's right for you. Regardless, I'm glad to see you here on my channel, and rest assured, you've come to the right place. Apple's watch lineup for 2023 is for the most part pretty simple and straightforward, but there are some other factors to consider, not just which generation of watch to pick up, such as color options, casing material, sizing, and whether or not cellular connectivity is right for you, not to mention battery life. In this full and comprehensive guide, we're going to cover everything Apple Watch. But before we do, I invite everyone watching to click the like button down below, and if towards the end of the video you feel like you learned something new, or maybe just happen to enjoy the video, consider subscribing and helping me start 2023 on the right foot by hitting a huge milestone and achieving 60,000 subscribers. And lastly, since we got a lot to cover, I'll attach chapters down below so that you can skip or rewind to certain parts to reference later on. Alright, I think that's it with the introduction, so without further ado, let's get things started. Alright, boys and girls, Apple Watch enthusiasts, and bandaholics, welcome to my comprehensive buying guide for the current Apple Watch lineup. Apple Watches typically get upgraded to the new gen every September, so this guide should serve a lot of people some use for a good while. And as soon as the Apple Watch Series 9, and if the Ultra gets an update to the Ultra 2 or whatever, you best believe I'll be right on top of things and get out an unboxing for you all as soon as possible. I have also reviewed each of these watches in detail and even have a few head-to-head comparison videos comparing and contrasting the differences of the current lineup. So as always, if you want to see those videos, I'll include links in the video description below. Okay, so first, to start off, one of the primary things you'll likely consider when picking up a brand new Apple Watch or upgrading is pricing. And thing is, in 2023, the options are very simple. You have a budget model in the form of the Apple Watch SE, which in my opinion is a terrific value and starts at $249. Then you have the middle ground, the Series 8, which is still relatively affordable, having a starting price of $399, but offering way more options in the form of colors and casing materials. Not only that, but the Series 8 provides an impressive suite of health sensors that could be utilized to monitor certain health conditions, such as those afflicted with AFib, for example. And finally, you have the super premium Ultra Apple Watch, which is the option with the least amount of color options and is the most expensive, having a starting price of $799. Certainly a tidy sum of money for most people, but provides you with the best features currently available on the Apple Watch, and not to mention the most durable case with the largest display currently available on the Apple Watch, which, speaking of, let's discuss sizing real quick. So on the Apple Watches, you get two options mostly on each model, minus the Ultra. I say that because on the Ultra, the sizing question is very easy and straightforward, and that's because there's only one option: a massive 49mm casing size. For those with small wrists, please do be warned. The watch is massive, and if you're not prepared for that, you'll likely find carrying a watch that big on the wrist to be a bit cumbersome. Then we have the Apple Watch SE. On this, you have a choice of a larger model and then a smaller one. It's totally up to preference, and don't fall into the fallacy of the small watches only being for women. That's totally absurd, and you should get the watch that you find fits your wrist better. So for the smaller variant, you get a 40mm display, and on the larger variant, it comes in measuring 44mm. The 4mm difference doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, on device displays this small, it's immediately apparent. Also important to note, some bands are size exclusive. For example, some of the Hermes leather bands are made solely for the smaller watches, and then there are other bands made only for the larger design. Additionally, the new bands that were designed for and released alongside the Apple Watch Ultra are only for the larger casing sizes. So if you happen to get a smaller version of the Apple Watch on the SE or the Series 8, do please note that Ultra bands will not be compatible. On the Series 8, however, you get a similar story, only that each sizing goes up by 1mm, effectively slimming down those bezels and providing roughly around 20% more usable screen area. You have the option of either a 41mm Series 8 or a 45mm casing size. And by the way, I forgot to mention that the upgrade to the larger casing sizes will cost you. For both the SE and the Series 8, the Apple tax is $30 to carry the privilege of upgrading your watch to the larger casing size. But, there is an even larger price difference on the stainless steel versions of the Series 8, which set you back an additional $50 to go to the larger casing size, which is a perfect segue to start discussing the different casing materials you have at your disposal. The Apple Watch SE and Ultra are actually quite simple in this regard. Both come in only one option, albeit very different materials. The SE only is offered in aluminum, which is great for those who don't want any bulk or anything heavy on the wrist. The aluminum SEs feel great on the wrist and feel the lightest when paired up with a nice and breathable Nike Sport Band, or for a tighter and more snug fit, something like the Sport Loops. Whereas the Apple Watch Ultra only comes in this nice brushed titanium finish. And if you weren't aware, titanium is one of the most durable materials you can put on a watch. Small dings here and there are no match for the durability of the Ultra case, and it's a smart choice by Apple, especially considering they heavily market this watch as for those who are willing to traverse even the toughest of terrains. Now, on the Series 8, Apple used to offer not only a titanium edition watch, but also a ceramic one, but we sadly haven't seen a ceramic watch in quite some time now. As for now, your choices are aluminum variants or stainless steel, with stainless steel of course coming in at a hefty premium. But man, do they look sexy and a lot classier, especially when pairing them up with some of Apple's leather offerings. The lustrous stainless steel watches reflect light and especially sunlight in a really elegant and distinct way. Most of the leather bands feature a stainless steel lug or insert, so they pair the best with the stainless steel offerings. But like I said, it ultimately comes down to preference. The standard silver stainless steel is similar to some of those OG retro devices, such as the back of the iPod Touches for anyone who remembers those. They were fingerprint magnets and scratch magnets, but I tend to think the trade-off is definitely worth it. But functionality-wise, the aluminum and stainless steel variants offer no benefits other than their exterior appearances. Alright, now let's talk about cellular connectivity, because some of these come with the option to upgrade to a GPS Plus cellular Apple Watch. So basically, at least here in the States, most cellular carriers such as T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T will offer you a separate cellular package for your Apple Watch, which typically adds about $10 to $15 to your wireless bill every month. Coming from experience, I used to pay those $10 monthly, but ended up cutting it off after about 10 months or so, as I felt it was a complete waste of money. If you're anything like me, my Apple Watch and iPhone are never more than 10 millimeters apart from each other, which effectively made my cellular connectivity on my Apple Watch useless. You really just have to ask yourself whether you think you'd find some use by having your Apple Watch hooked up to your carrier's cellular network to be able to stream music without your iPhone, for example, send text messages, receive phone calls, and stuff like that. Again, I happen to not get any use from adding cellular coverage to my Apple Watch, but your experiences may differ, and who knows, you may find that the GPS Plus cellular option is the right choice for you. It is also important to note that to opt for the cellular option for the SE, this upgrade will cost you an additional $50 from the base model and an additional $100 premium for the aluminum Series 8. If you pick up an Ultra or a stainless steel Apple Watch Series 8, however, cellular connectivity is there by default. And what I mean by that is there's no option to get an Apple Watch Ultra, for example, with a GPS model only. But remember that to set up cellular, you'd have to contact your cellular carrier so that they can charge you monthly for this privilege. Okay, so now that we've covered the basics, let's go over some superlatives, if you will, or in other words, who I think each watch is for. So remember, our three options directly from Apple are the Apple Watch SE 2nd Gen, the Apple Watch Series 8, and then the Apple Watch Ultra. And the truth of the matter is, the best Apple Watch for you depends on what you're looking to get out of a smartwatch. So starting us off, the Apple Watch SE 2nd Gen. Not only is this a terrific value, but I believe this watch is best suited for those on a budget, but also it's the best Apple Watch for first timers. See, thing is, I find that the Apple Watch is super useful in my life. It tracks my workouts, I get all my notifications and can quickly glance at them on my wrist, and has a suite of awesome health sensors that better helps track my health. For some though, Some would say that the Apple Watch is useless. And I mean, hey, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I just think people aren't fully aware of the true capabilities the Apple Watch offers. Therefore, imagine dropping nearly $1,000 on an Ultra just to get serious buyer's remorse later on and realize that it just doesn't really fit your lifestyle. That would really suck. This is why I say if this is your first ever time diving into the realm of the Apple Watch, you should definitely go for the SE. Again, not only is it the best bang for the buck, but it has enough of the necessary features that makes the Apple Watch experience so beloved. And best yet, it's on par in terms of chipset to the Series 8, which means it performs just as snappy as the more expensive Series 8, but also future-proofs your watch for several years to come. It does have a few drawbacks though, but it's to be expected with this being advertised as the budget-friendly model. Here, the bezels are a little bigger as compared to the Series 8, but the biggest differentiator, in my opinion, is the lack of an always-on display and a lack of those exclusive health sensors and features. But if none of this matters to you, then the SE will do you just fine. Now, for the Series 8, it's my humble opinion that I think the Series 8 is the best Apple Watch overall. Not only do you have more color options and casing material options, but your display is larger, providing you with more room to navigate the depths of watchOS. The always-on display is excellent for situations where you don't want to seem pretentious about your time by flicking your wrist in front of people, and instead can quickly glance at the always-on display and then very discreetly and quickly be able to tell the time. But the main difference between the Series 8 and SE is the ultimate suite of health features and sensors the Series 8 brings to the table. The Series 8 comes with a built-in skin temperature sensor, useful for females to be able to track their menstrual cycles and fertility tracking, as well as for better readings for sleep tracking. It also comes with an ECG reader, useful for those with AFib to better manage their heart health, and a blood oxygen app that rounds out the health packages to get readings of the oxygen levels in your blood. All of this is tracked in the health app, and you are in control of all of this data and can dictate who you decide to share this information with. It's more than just a solid watch that provides you with everything you'd ever expect from a modern smartwatch. If you have the budget to spend an additional couple $100, the upgrade to the Series 8 with its always-on display is a great upgrade versus the more budget-friendly SE. And finally, we have the Apple Watch Ultra. Clearly, this is marketed towards athletes or those individuals whose hobbies or careers deal with extremely rugged terrain, such as hiking, running marathons, deep diving, and things of that nature. But that doesn't mean that only those people can benefit from it. The Apple Watch Ultra also features the largest screen currently available on an Apple Watch, and of course is an always-on display, but also has the largest battery ever in an Apple Watch. Now, this factor is what can make it or break it for you. Many people, including myself, prioritize battery life. Which, by the way, I did release my battery drain test in more of a point of view style not too long ago. If you're interested in real world performance on how the batteries behave, definitely check out my video by clicking the card at the top right. Plus, the Ultra features an extra third button that the other two watches don't have on the left-hand side. It's a dedicated action button that can be customized to quickly bring up certain actions such as fire up the flashlight, start a workout, or set a waypoint. Yes, it is pricey, but trust me, it's a total beast and literally lasts days without ever having the need to recharge. The 49mm screen is huge though. I know I mentioned it already, but I have to emphasize that. Those with petite wrists may find that the Ultra is a little too big for their liking, but I mean, come on, it is built for adventure after all. In the end, I know it can be a tough choice, but with the information presented to you, I hope I could help, even if it's a little, in helping you make a more informed decision. There's a lot of things to consider, but ultimately, Apple has done a great job in streamlining the Apple Watch lineup to make it easier on consumers. Simply ask yourself what your needs are. Is your main goal to not spend a ton of money on an Apple Watch? Perhaps you're looking for the best health features but don't necessarily need the bulk or size of the Ultra. Is battery life your main concern? No matter which you choose, you'll benefit from watchOS 9, meaning all three watches have several software features in common, like fall detection and crash detection. If you still have questions, feel free to follow me on my socials and tweet at me or DM me with your specific use case and or questions. Again, guys, it makes me happy to help in any way I can. So if you did find some value in this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for even more dank and awesome tech content just around the corner. I have some insane plans in the works for 2023 and my channel, so stay tuned. And with that, I'm clocking out for now. but I cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.